Hey there, Regina Anler here, and it is time for Tips and Tricks Tuesday. What do you think of when you hear the phrase kiss? Do you think what most people think? Keep it simple, stupid? That's what most people think of when they hear the term kiss. I want to see if I can shift your thinking on that because keep it simple, stupid is not a very positive or friendly way of telling people to keep things simple, right? And there's different ways that people say it. A friend of mine says, keep it simple, sweetie. And you can also use one of the ones that I use in terms of life and other things. It's keep it super simple. So the way you think about that word kiss makes a difference. It's just like any other word. You have a way that you automatically think about it when you hear it, and you can shift your mindset. So when I hear kiss, I hear keep it simple, keep it super simple. That's what I hear. Now, I have a different view of kiss when it comes to business, and that's what I want to share with you today. When it comes to business, I use keep it simple and systemized. Think about your business. When it comes to owning and running a business, everything that you do needs to be systematized. Why? What if you want somebody else to do it? What if you want to hire a VA to maybe take over managing your email, managing your social media? If you keep it simple and systematized, super easy to turn it over to them. So, what do I mean by that? Everything that you do in your business should be systematized. Now, literally everything. So, if you get up in the morning, what is the first thing you do? One of the first things I do every single day, you may see it out here in the group, is I post out my positive thought of the day. I do that because that puts me in a good mood. I have a social media manager. I choose to put the post of the day out, the positive thought of the day out myself. I create those and put them out myself because it's the start to my day. It lifts me up. I put something out there of value that makes me happy creating it to share with you. And every step that I use to actually create that post of the day is written out so that if I wanted to turn that over to my social media manager, I could actually write it up. I could just send her the document. It's written up. I can send her the document that says, here's what I do. Here's how I create the images. Here's how I determine what images to use. Here's how I determine what quotes to use. Here's how I determine what the theme of the week is going to be. It's all systematized. And because it's systematized and simple, it's really easy to outsource. So even if you're not planning on outsourcing anything in your business, systematizing everything that you do and creating that process, writing down how you do what you do, not only can help somebody else, it can also help you. So when you think of that term KISS, remember in your business terms, keep it simple and systematized. And think everything that you do all day long, those things that you do in your business that you just automatically do and you don't even think about the steps, write them down, systematize everything, and keep it a simple systematized. You don't want to have 5 million different instructions so that if you go to turn it over to somebody, you just confuse them, right? You want to keep it simple. Keep it simple and systematized. We're going to keep going back to that. Little example for you. Back in the day when I was doing programming and I was learning programming, I was taught to flowchart. So some of you may know what flowcharting is. So if you know what flowcharting is, you start up with something, there's some kind of decision, then it goes into if it's this, do this, if it's that, do this. And while I was learning that, a guy that I was working with gave me a little quiz one day at lunch. We're sitting at lunch and he knew that I was in school learning flowcharting. And he goes, all right, I want you to flowchart how to light a match. Now, flowcharting is systematizing, right? So you're putting all the steps that you do to get something done. That's your system. That's your process, your system for getting things done. So I went, okay, well, now back in the day, If you don't know what matches are, a lot of people don't use matches anymore. You can have a book of matches, and I just automatically thought it's a book of matches. Now, a book of matches, you flip the cover open, you pull a match out, you strike it on the back, and you have your match lit, right? Yeah, there's a lot more things that go into that than I actually considered, which may be what goes into how somebody else thinks about what you're doing. So when you think about systematizing, you need to think of all of the steps and write them out in simple, easy detail so that somebody else can basically mirror what you're doing. So when it came to that match lighting, the first thing that he hit me up with after I said, "Yeah, it's like 3 steps. It's you open up the cover, you pull a match out, and you strike it on the back, and there you go, you're done." So his first question was, "Well, what kind of a match is it?" And I said, "Well, it's a book of matches." He goes, "How do you know?" "Maybe it's a box of matches. Maybe it's one of those big long matchsticks that you use to light the fireplace with. Did you check and see what kind of a match it was first?" That was the first step, and I completely missed it because I assumed it was a certain way. If you've ever asked anybody to do something for you or ever delegated anything and you went, "Ah, this would be so much easier if I just did it myself." Have you ever done that? I know I've done that in the past. Chances are pretty good the reason why you feel that way because they didn't do it right was because they didn't understand how you wanted it done. I assumed it was a book of matches. He said, "What if it's a box of matches?" It's a different process. Now I'm opening up the box, I'm sliding the box back in before I'm striking anything. And so there's a whole bunch of different steps. And so when you think about what you're doing in your business, think about all those steps that you do that you just take for granted. Now, if you say we're going to hire a social media manager or a VA to even take calls for you. So if you want to hire somebody to vet out potential clients, they need to know how to do that. You can't just say, "Yeah, so I've got this program. Here's what the program comes with. Here's all the information. Here's what it costs. Just see if they're the right people for the program." Chances are pretty good that you're not going to get the right people in the program because you didn't give enough instruction. You didn't systematize the process so that they could do it effectively the way you want it done. So when it comes to KISS in your business, keep it simple and systematized is the rule so that everything that you do day in and day out is written down. So if you haven't yet, which most people haven't, just start jotting down. You know, what do you do first thing in the morning when you get up and you go do something? We all have our morning routine, right? And then we get to our office. What's the first thing you do when you get to your office? Do you check your email? If you check your email, what are you looking for? Are you looking for certain emails? Are you looking to get rid of the junk? Are you looking for responses from old emails that from some conversation that's going on? What are you doing when you go in there, or do you go straight to social media? Do you do something different? What is the routine? How do you spend your day? If you had to go and log and write down everything you do from the time you get to your desk to the time you wrap it up at whatever time that is at the end of the day, what would you come up with? And how much of that is really in here? So if you were looking to outsource it, if you were looking to have somebody else help you, hire a VA, hire a college kid to maybe, go through and, keep your email cleaned up on a regular basis. They need to know how you do it. And that's your system. So I want to make sure that you understand that everything that you do in your business should be systematized and keep it simple and systematized. So use that KISS rule for your business, and you will find that things get to be a lot easier. The overwhelm goes away, the anxiety, the stress. When you're turning something over to someone, it's so much easier because now they know exactly what you're expecting of them, and they can provide you exactly that. So you don't have to think about it anymore. If you have any questions about systematizing or VAs, tune in tomorrow, next week on the 18th. I have somebody joining me for Coffee with Regina who is going to talk about how to outsource stuff. And I can guarantee you we are going to be talking about systematizing so that you can do that. It all ties in together into a nice little bow. So come and join us on Coffee with Regina on the 18th for that conversation. And we will see you next week on Tips and Tricks Tuesday. Bye for now.